So this thing like barely fits in here. In general, like, you know, the heating and cooling, you know, aspect of this, they've got like vents on the sides, a fan that I think pulls in the front here, and then it dissipates out the sides. You know, we also have on the QC dissipation on either side as well, but the whole thing acts as a heat sink, and that's true for this Seymour Duncan as well. So on Mike's pedalboard that I did recently, I was a little bit concerned about these vents being too close to each other, but it actually offsets just a little bit. And considering they're both dissipating heat that way, like this channel, I don't particularly love, but it's kind of the only way to have like a super like compact board like this. So my thought is, well, you know, I would want to test this over a long period of time, right? But I've seen that a lot of guys will use the QC inside of a rack that isn't even ventilated. And if that's the case and they can do that successfully, you know, my thought is, well, if they're doing that, then this is plenty fine, because it's open air. And this active cooling here, honestly, just if anything, creates more airflow in that area. So I'm less worried about it. But in general, I think it's going to be fine. It has been for him. But again, you won't really know until you test it for like years, right? Like if we had to, I could mount a fan underneath to provide more cooling, but this has an overheating circuit that will tell you if it's overheating. And like I said, this guy normally sits inside of a rack, so I'm not really concerned about it. But whenever you're building a board like this, you know, first step is mock everything up. And it's annoying, dude. Like, I get it. Like, you have to put stuff together and take it apart multiple times throughout a build. And it's obnoxious to do double work. But it's the only way to really be confident that everything is going to be correct. So for instance, like the placement of the QC, I want to leave this top area as clean as possible. Leave this top area as open as possible, so that way I can run some of the cables underneath, right, down into those slots, because you definitely don't want cables going around like that. That would be crazy. And when you add the dual lock, it gives you a little bit of height, right? So when we attach those to the bottom of the QC, it will give you a little bit of height, so that way when you route the cables underneath and into these slots, there's actually space for the cable, and the dual lock can stay locked, right? And the placement of the Seymour Duncan, I want to line that up so that way the power cable has the ability to go straight down into there, right? So we've got this, where is it? This right angle. So funny enough, we're actually not going to use the entirety of this cable. We're really just using the right angle. It's actually a left angle, technically. And we want to line it up so that way it goes straight down into that hole. Same thing on the input and output. We're using Nutric, like high grade, like speaker jack style TS connector. That's going to go straight down into that cable. So the placement, you know, logically you would think, okay, let's OCD this and make it perfectly lined up. You okay there, Mona? You thrown up? All right. Logically, you would think that you would line it up like this, right? Like, okay, let's make it perfectly even with the top of the QC, right? But if you do that, it covers up those holes, and there's not, because this IEC cable is thicker and the TS speaker cable is thicker, that actually doesn't work out well. So you move it down, and it comes off being looking like it's a little centered on the board, which is, I guess, another, you know, way you could do that. That would be, you know, satiating the OCD in your head. But I think it's kind of the only way for that to be elegant for the power. So that's why I'm doing it that way. So I've done this board before, so it's not like it's a new idea for me. But yeah. All right, pretty sure he's stage left. So I would really like a reply, but it's all good. So this guy will go there. The other guy will go there. What happened to my mini screwdriver? I put it somewhere? Ah, I did. It doesn't fit right. In the past, I've used this one, so I guess we'll use it again. Everything. To keep these bags, they are nice. Who knows what the hell I'd ever use it for, but I keep them anyway. So in general, what I like to do is the one closest to the top of the board, I will do the XLR, and then I'll do cabinet and then guitar, usually. So XLR, cabinet, guitar. So let me take these guys out. That doesn't fit well. You can always tell, like, if it's not going to fit right, like that doesn't fit great. So you just keep stepping the sizes up or down until it fits perfect, like that. That fits really well. So we'll take that guy out. And then we take our XLR, and if it's going in the side like that, we want it to be oriented correctly. I think that's probably going to be the most elegant way to do that. You take those same screws and you put them back in. If you need to talk to me, you can. Just wait until I'm not talking. I said, if you need to talk to me, you can. Just wait until I'm not talking. See, that's not lined up. Rotate it, and then now it is. So an old boss of mine and kind of a mentor. He told me a story about a watchmaker, and he talked about how he uses the like the goal he has is to use the perfect tool for every single application, so that way the head of the screw never gets marred, right? Because that's you ruin the reusability of a screw the moment you do that. So the goal is to always keep it exactly correct, so that way you can reuse those screws as much as possible, and so it looks elegant and like it hasn't been damaged, right? So for this one, if I remember correctly, and it like there are many different types of Phillips head screwdrivers, right? There's not just one type. They all have sizes, and you may not know what the screw head calls for. But what you can do is the moment you put the screwdriver in there, you can feel it, right? Like there's no, like, I don't know if you can see this, but there's just, the tolerance is super tight, and you can feel that it's nice and snug. That's the right one. And if it feels loose, or if it's the curvature of the head of the screwdriver is wrong, like if this is more flat instead of like pointed like this, like more deep, then you'll know like it's not the right one. And if it feels wrong, just stop. Like it's not worth it. Like don't be lazy, right? Like don't be an asshole. Just like do it right. It saves you so much more time later, and people forget that. So if I remember correctly, we want these both oriented to the left, because if I put this tab to the right, once I put it in there, it's really hard to put the locking mechanism. I like to use these locking connectors for everything, lock everything, right? You don't want any of this coming loose during a show and screwing up. See, that just cammed out, like, ugh. It's because I wasn't applying enough pressure. That's gonna bother me for a week. All right, so then this guy, so you could do that, or you could do this, right? Well, when we go to place it inside, sorry, the other way. If I remember correctly, that creates an issue where you can't actually, let's just go ahead and throw it in there and I'll show you. Show you why that's not ideal. Okay. Also, you'll notice they're kind of on top of each other that way. That's interesting. I may have to shave that down. We'll see. But when we go to place it, you see how there's not an easy way to do it, so we'll orient it the other way. No, there's still a thread. Feels a little tight. Cool. All right, let's put that guy in. Oh, you know what? Let's do the we need to do the IEC connector first, because if I remember correctly, placing the screws in this guy is a real pain in the ass. Just because it's so close to this. And as I'm working, I always put like things that go together stay together, right? So I'll reuse one of these guys, right? Drop those in there. You can drop these in here as well. Those screws we'll need for that. This is for that. All right. All right, let's do this one. Really how it goes is this goes at the end of the cable, but not this one. Anyway. All right. So this guy gives us our on-off for the entire board. So let's go ahead and remove. See what I mean? This thing sucks having to put this in, but I don't think there's any other way to keep the board this this tight. All right. I hate when that happens. So when they're powder coating these, it doesn't always like it's the tolerances are so tight because there's residue from that. So I use the back side of a screwdriver and I pop it out. Not that it really matters, right? Like you're not going to be reusing this. Another thing we'll throw in our box. All right, so switch is on the top, IC connector on the bottom, right? So the orientation will be like that. So in general, whenever I'm working on anything, I do the hard thing first because it just feels better, I feel like. And what I like to do is start. Oh, that's not the right one. Oh, whoops. Yep, we need to use this guy. I like to put the screwdriver in the head of the screw before I insert it because it's such a tight space. Like it's kind of the only way you're going to be able to do that without creating some sort of problem, right? So hold it like that and then I'll insert it. And this is hard. Like it's going to take me probably more than one attempt to get it just right. The screwdriver is going to want to come out of your hand. I might have been lucky here. Nope, of course not. Well, it did thread, which is cool, but now I can't see anything, which is, you know, pain in the ass to get this back on the head of the screw. Honestly, it might be better to just, if you're doing this, remove like the side panel, but we're already in it, so we're gonna keep moving forward. Almost. This guy. Yeah. I don't know how much that's helping. So much. And right now I'm just feeling for it, right? I'm feeling to see if I can, because once you catch the head of the screw, so I'm going to the top of the opening, slowly moving down until I feel like it's, okay, so it's there now. Oh, no, god damn. This is why, there we go. Let's try putting this on the other side and see if that kind of helps line everything up. Yeah, that's gonna help, I think. So now that that's there, we go on the other side, see if we can feel the head of the screw again. Easily the most difficult part of this entire job. Let's put the headlamp on and see if I can find it that way. Oh, I got it. Oh, good. It still feels a little wonky. I don't like it. Honestly, I think that might just be tolerances that are normal, because it is definitely tight on the other side. Cool. So we've got that mounted. Dropping screwdrivers. This is so long, right? Like, I think that's because, like, when they take that off. When they designed this, they make this IEC adapter for boards that are longer as well. So simple enough. We just do a loop. You'll see when I connect this guy that it makes sense to do it, right?
Would you like a bagel with cream cheese?
Sure. All right, well, before we do that though, let's finish the side work. Let's go ahead and add our connectors. Same thing as before, right? We're always trying to set ourselves up for success. Oh, God damn it. Made a mistake. Sometimes you make mistakes. So, the mistake I made is I mounted it upside down. That's cool. Where did it go? Did it fall through? Oh shit. Come on, bro. There. I forgot that there is an orientation. You see how much more there is on this side than there is on this side? That was a mistake. So I need to move all of these backwards. Again, wrong screwdriver, correct screwdriver. It's so easy to do too, because you imagine, you're like, oh, it's going to be the same on both sides. It's fucking not. It looks like it's the same, especially when there's nothing in it. It's hard to notice. Right. You have to take all of it out because they have to go in order. Nothing bothers me more than double work, I think. It's probably the most annoying thing that I have to deal with, to be honest. All right. Cool. So now we flip it around. So part of me feels like I need to move this out of the way, because dropping the screws into that maze is fun. We all love that. So as I'm putting that in, the threads felt a little weird, right? So whenever that happens, you feel like a little bit of resistance, you just back up, right? It probably had to do because that like kind of like flipped over. So let's, you never want to misthread something if it feels weird, just in general, like pretty much anything in life, not even just pedal boards and screws, but if it feels weird, slow down, back up, check it again. Usually it's wrong, or something's off, and you know, in general, it's always trust and verify, right? Trust but verify, but the moment your instincts kick in and say, that's not the way to do this, something feels off, you should trust that instinct. It's hard to do because you're like, you know, those instincts can be wrong, but in my experience, especially when you're working on things in general, you need to, like, if it feels off, stop. Alright, these are all snugged. Let's try this again, shall we? Now, orientation. Look at that. Now it fits, and it's not bitching at me. All right, let's try it again. So again, I'm picking the hard one first, right? This one's close to that, and it's kind of annoying, right? So we're gonna do that first. Feels good, feels better than before because it's correct now. And this guy up at the top. Almost. There we go. Cool. All right. Nice. All right, so for this guy, like I showed before, we're gonna wanna do a little loop-de-loop. Right. There's the little faceplate here. It's like perfectly in the way. So you actually want, for this, you need a clean surface to mount it to. So with all these raised edges and the screws and stuff, the dual lock's not gonna fit right. So you have to go beyond the dual lock like that, or beyond the plate. Now you can kind of line this up here. That's probably what I'll do. But you know, basically like that, so that way it's not overlapping. Let's grab our bag of mystery for some more dual lock. Right, so definitely don't need a ton. I essentially want to do like that much. Let's do it like this. Let's take, well, we might be able to reuse those, but I don't think that's enough, actually. We'll cut it together. That way they're both the same size. I mean, honestly, you really don't want this thing to move, so I'm gonna just do the whole thing. Chop off this end. Cool. Put it on there, let's clean it, put it on there. I really need to find some paper that doesn't, some paper towels that don't leave residue, because this feels excessive. Like this is all new stuff, right? So there's probably not oils and stuff there, but like you never know. And I really don't want this thing coming disconnected, so we're gonna, you know, do it right. Don't love that. That felt good. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now you'll notice I just did that because the cable wanted to go that way. Don't fight it. You can train a cable, right? Like adding heat and then like teach it where it needs to go. But like cable has memory. And I know that sounds wild, but it genuinely does. Feels pretty good. Cool. And then get it down. All right. And I will probably throw a standoff and a zip tie here just to keep it stable, but it's almost definitely not necessary. It's just, you know, how I like things. Yep. So now all we really need to do is measure out cable lengths for audio input, output, and power.
What are you staring at, Mona? What are you staring at, Mona? Huh? Huh? Oh, you afraid of the camera? Are you camera shy? Come here. It's okay. Little camera shy butt. Okay. Okay. It's not a big deal. The power, Mona. It's the power. It's the power. Fuck. I didn't put my tools back like an idiot. Give it some relief. So it'll be something like that. Good. It's a little tight, but we can replace that a little bit further back. Give us a little loop. Boom. Then I'm going to go to my electrician friend and have him terminate this for me. Alright. Now that Frank the electrician is taking care of our high voltage connections. Frank, we can go ahead. Let's see. I want it tucked back in there. Set that there. Good. What is this crazy cat doing? What are you doing? Are you doing a little crazy one? Are you over here messing up the boxes? Just knocking boxes over, huh? Huh? You little shit. You little shit. Yeah. Something that a lot of people don't think about when they're doing this is they're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna make the cable, and then you see how it doesn't. But what you can do is make the cable, don't actually put the casing on it, and it fits through just fine. This one, I don't think, I mean, I've got a bunch of them and they're not like bad quality or anything, they're fine. It's just the Square Plugs brand fits through there no problem, and this one you have to take this back off, because if you don't, it just does not. I mean, here, I got one that's put together. So like that, it doesn't want to go, and like that, it doesn't want to go. So like maybe you could finagle that through or force it through, but if you just take the back off, it'll fit through. So I can make those and then attach them after. The new trick one for the speaker output, if I remember correctly, it fits through. Let's take a quick little gander. We'll pre-assemble. Leave that there and that there. So this is what good design looks like. They know that everything's got to be as tight as possible, and it fits just fine through there. So when we run this guy through there, it'll fit. That's good. Don't worry about that one. Or that one, obviously. So good to go, baby. Let's get our jig, our little clamp thing set up, and start making some cables.
Cool, man. Well, it's all done. Check it out. The only thing I need to do that I haven't done is test the,
That's heavy.
yeah. I haven't tested the XLR output just because my other interface wasn't set up, but I got it set up now.
Oh,
so.
that's sick. Dude, it looks so good. Dude, you killed it.
Thanks, bro.
That is awesome.
You want to plug it in? Check it out?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Alright. So I would just set it over there somewhere and we'll wire it up.
Dude, that looks so sick.
Yeah, it's nice and tight.
Yeah, I cannot wait. That is awesome.
The only thing we're missing at this point is the K&K shield still hasn't come in.
Oh, that's from Poland.
Yeah, I messaged them to be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what? They didn't even let me know that, like, it's delayed or anything. So I was just like, yo, what is the deal? So
That's trouble.
I'm going to follow up again with them and confirm.
Dude, you did an awesome. Dude, this is gonna be awesome right here.
Dude, that alone saves so much fucking time. So the thing to know is the purple side goes to the pedal board and the black side goes to the wall. So like this heat shrink, whenever you see that, you know that goes here.
Gotcha.
And then the other side goes to the
That
back.
makes sense.
And your jacks are on the left side because you're stage left. So that way the cable's not like, you're not tripping over the cable.
Oh, okay. Okay, I gotcha. I see what you're doing now. Okay, and these lock in.
Yeah, so go ahead and push that guy in and then try to pull it out without pushing the red thing. Then pull the red thing.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. It makes a difference. And then same for that. Yeah. Wait, is that backwards? Hold on, let me see. Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. The guitar volume's probably down. Yeah. Go ahead.
Dude, that thing sounds sick.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So then we should be hearing it out of here also. So if we kill this, what? There it is.
It's just that simple.
So that is what goes to front of house. So like when you're listening through the like mixing board and like when they're putting you on front of house, that's what the sound engineer's hearing.
Okay.
So the speakers that are in the PA system, they don't mic your cabinet, they don't have to do any of that. You just take that one XLR, like how we have the one white cable plugged in now. You tell the guy I have a DI for my guitar, and he'll give you an XLR, or tell him you need an XLR. And then it just sounds perfect for front of house. You don't have to mic anything, you don't have to like fuck with anything.
I kind of want to try that. Like,
I mean,
Milestone,
do it. I do it every time. They don't mic my cabinet at the Milestone. I have it up there for myself. And for anyone who's like right up on the stage, you know?
yeah. I want to try that for real.
But I mean, it sounds pretty good.
Sounds amazing, honestly.
Yeah, it does sound good. So I noticed on mine, because I was trying to figure out why yours is so much quieter than mine was earlier. And that's because I have my output level turned up 6 dB on both of these. So that's what I was expecting.
Ah.
And then keep playing.
That is sick, dude.
So now that you've got what your stage volume would be, and then what the front of the house would hear.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, this sounds so good.
So, as far as like the presets go, so if you swipe from the, so like imagine there's a invisible line between the top and the bottom here, bottom section, top section. If you swipe down from the top section, it shows you your inputs and outputs, and then it shows like volumes for everything. So like one thing you'll want to do when you get home is on input 1, if you play real hard. So like if your input level doesn't ever get close to the line, it's probably too low. So you can then turn up your input level. It's going to depend on the pickups and the guitar, more the pickups than anything, whether or not you need to do that. But you'll notice that if you don't do that, the guitar will sound weak.
Yeah.
And you're like, why? And it's because it's just not as hot as it needs to be. Then output 1 is the front of house. So if for some reason the guy's like, hey, can you turn down your guitar DI?
Go to output 1.
Well, you can come here and fuck with that, but what I do is I just turn down this volume, because that'll turn down the volume for both this and the front of the house, but you can just turn this up to compensate.
Okay, that makes sense.
A lot of the time, though, he's not going to care so much about the DI as long as it's not clipping. He's probably going to tell you to turn the cabinet down, if anything.
Yeah.
I keep and don't play, but I normally have it like way up there. When I'm playing with a band, it's that loud.
Yeah.
Which is like
incredibly loud.
It's like 100 and something decibels. It's
Holy
fucking,
crap.
It's very loud. But you need it to get over the drummer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, and then if you swipe from the bottom half of the screen, you have gig view.
Okay.
So you can change the color and name it whatever you want. You mentioned that you want a preset that's got like a shit ton of feedback, right? Let me actually just make it to where there's literally 0. So right now it's set to 0, but we can also just go like this and turn it off. So now for this, so how I have it set up is like you've got your noise gate kind of high before the amp, and then you've got one after the amp that's set lower just to remove any hits or anything.
Okay.
And then when you want to do your feedback, that's all the feedback that you could want. It's even more intense when the volume's turned up.
Oh, that's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
Because for that first song is like all feedback in the beginning.
And if you wanted to, for that song, make it like more intense, you could come over here to this overdrive pedal and hold on. So normally I have it set to where you know, like typical, when you put a drive pedal in front of an amp, typically you turn the drive almost all the way off, like basically off, and then you put the tone to taste and crank the level.
Yeah.
You're basically just front loading the preamp circuit of the amp, like with a bunch of extra power. But what you can do for this is for that crazy feedback section. So I can just come here, hold that down, and now it should be on. I'm trying to make it an assignable function. Oh, whoops. No, stop. There. So now that it's got the ABCD, that means I can change this to whatever I want and it'll be just for this scene. So go like that. And now for the feedback scene, so here's nice and normal, right? Normal distortion. And then this is all your feedback. So I just basically cranked the gain pedal, so it's just like going nuts.
That's gonna be sick.
So main distortion, feedback. This is a pitch, so like it just went from.
What's that? Drop C sharp, and then
yeah.
Damn, that is low.
It's just 4 steps, I think, but yeah.
That's sick.
So if you wanted to have songs like in different tunings, as long as like the difference between the strings is the same, like if both songs are in a drop tuning, but one's like drop A and the next one's drop G or something, you could just make the pitch shifter. You can just change it to whatever you want. So like if I come in here and we go to pitch, this one. So go ahead and play. Eight steps down from drop C sharp, or you can come back up to normal, and this is where I had it.
Okay.
So you can change the tuning like to whatever you want it to be, basically.
Thanks. You know, I didn't need that mono case to carry two guitars.
Well, you need 2 guitars because you have to have a backup in case one breaks on stage.
Yeah, I definitely just bought one the other day.
Oh, sick. Yeah, it's the best, man. I'll tell you one thing I noticed when I was at NAMM, every motherfucker had one of those.
Yeah.
If they didn't have a double with them, they had a single, but they were mono cases almost exclusively.
Yeah,
like,
I believe it.
There were some guys who had like the hard rolling cases from like Aki or whatever they're called, like EK, EI or whatever they are.
The bigger one.
They're like a rectangle and they're hard case. They're not like
like 4 of them.
I think it's just 2, but maybe it's 4. I don't know. But that I saw a few times, but mostly guys had those mono bags.
I mean, as soon as I got it, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's good.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very high quality. So then I also got you a lead patch. So this is just like, you know, just normal, just delay and reverb kind of thing. And then like a breakup tone. So like.
Oh, okay.
So you got that. So that's that clon.
Oh, I like that.
And then so that's the clon into a JC120. So it's a really beautiful. And then this is that same thing with a little bit of reverb and delay.
Sweet.
And then
that's like, honestly, I love that. I'm gonna use that a lot.
It sounds good. And the distortions that I have in there are the stock amps. So like, I didn't use a capture because I wanted you to have the flexibility. But like, if you find a capture you like, just drop it in there and remove the amp that I have in there. You'll maybe have to fuck with the settings a little bit, but it's basically the same deal.
Okay.
And then uber clean. So like, as clean as it gets.
That's crazy clean.
Yeah, it's a JC120. It's just like the cleanest amp you could get, pretty much. Then, so roll the volume all the way down,
Right.
and then play a chord and swell the volume up.
That's pretty.
So that's got modulated reverb and delay. Yeah.
That's gonna be sick. So
It's
like
fun.
The shoegaze thing, dude.
Oh, dude, all day. All day.
I'm gonna shoegaze the crap out of that.
Yep. So those are just the ones I made, Ben, and that's just this one patch, right? So that's, I made one patch for you. You can make as many of those patches as you want, but that one patch has 6 scenes, or 8 scenes to pick from.
That distortion is so clean.
And then I typically don't fuck with this too much.
Just gotta leave them all at 12.
I like this a little bit scooped like that to where it pushes the bass and treble just a little bit. But like you can see, it's not that important. It's usually I'm doing that for like whatever stage I'm on.
Yeah.
Or whatever I'm feeling like that day. Like I just want more chugs in there. Like for instance, when we play this next show in March, like it's not going to be our normal bass player. We're having a fill-in. Yeah. So I might add a little bit of bass to my rig sound just in case something happens and I got some backup. Just so tonally it feels a little bit strong.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But like, it's nice to just have an EQ to like on the fly make some adjustments if you need to make adjustments.
Yeah.
Without having to go into any menus or anything.
Yeah, this is absolutely insane. Like it sounds so good.
Yeah, man.
Like that is so tight. That is crazy tight. Like that's
not even as tight as the gate goes at all. There's 40% I think on the input gate, and then on the effects loop gate it's only like 20% or 30%. So like when I'm like mine, when I've got mine at 76%.
Yeah.
Because when you turn, so like this is just basic with noise gates in general. When you crank your volume that's coming out of the cab, you're going to have to increase your noise reduction.
Yeah.
So the noise gate needs to go up in concert with whatever your volume's going up to. Mm. Because there's more feedback for it to try to control.
Yeah,
because it's loud. So 76 is where I have mine when I've got it turned up to like here.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I've got the volume set to like 75, 76 on the amp, so really you just kind of correlate the two. I think it would work.
That makes sense. Listen, I could never get my tube amp and all like my regular stuff to sound this good.
Oh, I mean, dude, this is, so don't hit the strings yet, but just, that's all the amp. That is so loud, and you can't even hear anything.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Man, you did a crazy job with it.
Appreciate it, brother.
Oh, that's a little.
It's not that bad. 80.
It feels loud for.
It does. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I had to buy this guitar from you. It feels so good.
Dude, the S series is my favorite. I just wish they would make some more Japanese ones.
Yeah.
I was disappointed at NAMM. They didn't have any new Prestiges.
I saw someone else say that. Who was it?
I don't
It was
know.
like 2 or 3 guys on YouTube that were talking about how they were disappointed with Ibanez.
Yeah, they released a bunch of premiums, which are... It's not the same thing as a Prestige at all. It's not made in Japan. I think the premiums are made in Korea.
Yeah.
Or Indonesia still, but they're like higher end Indonesian made ones. I don't know. It just felt like whatever.
Because I saw a couple people were saying that they wanted Tim Henson's new signature to be
Prestige.
Prestige.
Yeah, no, I would want. If I was gonna buy any signature guitar, it has to be the high end shit, or it's not worth it for me at all. Like, I'm not out here being a fanboy. I want to play their spec, and if they have low end versions, like, I'm glad that it's accessible, but that's not their spec.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
He's not playing.
He's not playing a fucking Indonesian made Ibanez. No. Like, that's not how that works.
Definitely not. It's Tim Henson.
Yeah.
I'll be playing a lot of counterparts with this, like.
Yeah, it's got some parts vibes.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, man.
You killed it. I cannot.
So also all the delays and stuff. So like if we go back here, it goes based off of whatever tempo you have set. So if you just hit real quick, just like right now, do it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you can preset the tempo. So if you know that, like, so like in general, how people use these is the patch will be the song.
Okay.
And then the scenes are different parts in that song.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And then they'll set the tempo of the patch to whatever the tempo of the song is supposed to be. So that way, like, delays and everything else match up with the tempo of the song.
That's awesome. That makes sense.
And if you were to run like a computer and like run the whole thing off of MIDI, so like the other thing this can do, like if you get to the point that you're playing shows like this, you can have a laptop control all of your patch and scene changes. So you don't literally have to touch anything, and it can just sit in a rack.
That's pretty cool.
I know guys who will run this, so they'll run. So like we could add a MIDI cable to your Snake later. And then I could patch in the MIDI, and I could do it all, so it's all nice and tidy. And then you could run MIDI back to, like, your laptop rig, and then the whole set is just, like, programmed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so, like, the drummer will play to a click, and then it's, like, song 1. When he hits go on his, like, trigger pad, or he just hits the space bar, you'll get, like, an 8 count.
Yeah.
And then it just starts. And then, like, he can pause it, of course, and whatever. But then all of your patch changes, including shit like wahs. So, like, if you've got a wah and you manipulate it in the song, that can be programmed as well. And it can, like, you could do it and record what you do. Yeah. And then it'll do exactly the same thing without you having a wah pedal or anything on stage.
That's honestly almost too smart. Like,
yeah, well, it's cool if your band can hang like that and your drummer can rock in ears and rock to a click. It becomes a problem if he sways off click, and it becomes a problem if, like, there's any sort of mistake or the laptop crashes or whatever. Now what the fuck are you gonna do?
Yeah, that
right.
Makes sense.
So that's why guys will have 2 quad Cortexes and they'll have 2 laptops. Because if one system goes down, they just swap to the other one. Yeah.
2 quad Cortexes, I can't imagine that.
Bro, people do that. It's wild.
Listen, I've seen so many videos here recently, just in like the last 2 weeks, of guys saying, "Oh yeah, we're completely." I'm dropping my regular rig. I'm going straight to a quad Cortex. Like, there's no need for anything else. I was like, I made the right choice.
Dude, so many people are doing it. And it's people that, like, you know, are even like, so like a quad Cortex makes perfect sense if you're in like a progressive metal band, or you're doing like some really intense like sound changes and stuff. It makes perfect sense. If you're playing like straight up hardcore music where it's like 99% of the time it's just distortion, it's kind of like overkill.
Yeah,
in a way. But those dudes are still like, I'm tired of my fucking tube amp breaking. I'm tired of lugging around this giant, heavy, expensive thing.
Yeah.
And those dudes are like seeing how compact something like this is, and they're like, yo, I don't care if it's not like super like, you know, OG tube amp hardcore kid style shit.
Yeah.
It just makes my life way fucking easier.
Yeah, and I think that's what sold it for me was the simplicity, because like you said, it's simple. Like it looks pretty simple to use, but just to like to carry around. And my biggest thing was like I have so many different projects.
Yeah.
Between hardcore, metalcore, and like shoegaze and whatnot. Being able to switch at the tip of my finger, that's gonna be awesome.
Well, and what you would do is you come over here and see how you've got these different folders. Mm-hmm. Make a folder for each band or each project, and then your presets, your songs, would go in there, and then those songs have different scenes. And that's like how you would organize it all.
I'm about to spend a lot of time organizing.
You can also, it's got USB, right?
Yeah.
So you can plug it into the computer, and they have a app called Cortex Control.
Oh, I do have that on my phone.
Yeah. Well, on the phone.
I have it on my phone and on my computer.
I didn't know they had it for the phone already.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just released it.
Well, cool. If you can edit your patches from your phone, that's cool too.
Yep. Or Cortex Cloud.
Well, that's where you share presets and stuff.
Okay.
The thing I'm talking about is a desktop interface for changing and organizing your presets.
I do have that one.
So what you can do is make a backup of what you have now, just so you don't lose anything. And then you can organize everything how you'd want to organize it, and like build out your folders and your songs and all that sort of stuff. And it's pretty intuitive once you get into it.
Yeah, it's sick.
So, and then of course there's the ability to download other people's presets and other people's stuff, but they also have there are guys who sell amp captures.
Yeah.
So that's what I did is I spent $30 and bought one of the amp capture packs from this guy, and it's the best sounds I've gotten out of it so far. So you can save that for later when you want to fuck around.
That's wild. So to get back at that.
Yep.
And so you said that's a gate.
Yep. So it goes gate, pitch shifter. That's a pedal, a drive pedal, but it's a capture. So you see how it's got that little symbol? So if we go here, it's on this one. See how it says a little symbol at the bottom left? That's the capture symbol to let you know that it's a capture. Then it goes to the overdrive. It's an 808 clone. Then we go to the 5153. I think the blue channel sounds better than the red channel. Mike likes the red channel. And then that's the Jazz Chorus, the JC120. It's the clean amp, but it's off, as you can see. Then another gate, right? So the signal chain goes like this, and then there's a splitter right there. So it splits. So this signal, as you can see, goes to nothing. So this, then it goes like that, and then it goes like this. And then it says its output is row 3, right? So row 1, 2, 3, right? So this guy goes to there. And then it goes like this, and then there's another splitter. And then I have one coming here to output 3, which is the Seymour Duncan, and output 1, which is front of house. Which is why there's a cab block here, and there's not a cab block on 3. Because we don't want to put a cab block in front of an actual cabinet.
Yeah, because it messes with the sound, right?
It just doesn't sound as good.
Yeah.
Some people do it anyway because they think it sounds cool, but I think those people are silly.
I couldn't figure out when I first got the Pod Go, like I had before. I was like, oh, this sounds terrible. I was like, oh, wait.
You gotta turn that off.
I had to turn the cab off.
Yeah. And then on this third row, it's reverb. Whoops. Sorry. Oh, interesting. Okay. Reverb delay. And that's all.
Okay.
So you still have plenty of room to add more stuff. You'll know when you have a problem because it won't let you add more stuff. So there's a CPU monitor.
Okay, yeah. I think I've heard people talk about other devices not having enough CPU.
So this one definitely has a ton
Yeah.
of processing power. But what's important to know is that the CPU is shared per like a lane. So this up here, like these two, I think that's how it was separated. But anyway, it's like you don't want to put all of your amplifiers and like really like heavy effects all in the same. Like if I put all of this plus the amplifiers on that one row, that it would be, you'd be overloading one of the processors. So you split it up, which is why I do like the wet effects at the bottom, and then I do like the so like in general, reverbs and delays take up processing more than other things. It's a ton of math that it has to do and stuff to figure shit out. The amplifier captures or the amplifier models take up probably the most or like second most. So I just put those on two separate sections. That's why like top row is separate from the bottom row when it comes to that shit.
Okay, that makes sense.
So the processors don't get overloaded. That's why I do that.
Okay.
So when you're building patches, if you try to drop a new thing on the line and it's like grayed out or it won't let you, it's because it's maxed out. So just rearrange shit and you'll be fine.
Okay. That's sick. That is wild.
But in general, so you tap the name to get to all your folders and shit. This is also where if you have your own impulse responses that you want to load, that's where you would get to them here. You actually upload them through the Cortex Cloud app, either like through the website or off your phone.
And it pops up right here and you hit the download thing.
Yeah.
I was playing with that before I brought it over here a little bit.
Yep. And then, so that's like, this is where most of that stuff lives, right? And then if you, so you know, input output view is up here. Then down here is your gig view. And then over here, you have a settings. Where are we at? Settings, so this is the only other menu, really. Once you connect to the internet, you can connect it to your account. You can do cloud backups from here. There are some device options. Let's see. Brightness, power button sensitivity. I didn't really change any of that. And then MIDI settings, and that's it. So it looks like they added an option to change swap tempo. Enable. And hold input. Huh, that's interesting. So you can, I might try that on mine. You can swap it to where, to change tempo, you would hold the tempo, hold this button down, and then it would take you to tempo. Because like right now, if you hold this button down, it turns on the tuner. But guys complain that it takes too long for that to happen. So they must have changed.
Takes too long. I mean, that seemed pretty quick to me.
Yeah, people are used to it being instantaneous. So there must be. That's weird that you have the option, but I don't. You see that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, let me see what version you're on.
Am I doing an update?
Maybe I need to do an update. Yeah, you're on 2.3. I'm on 2.2.2. So I need to update mine so I can get that feature. But it basically just swaps it. So that way, if you double tap this, it pulls up your tuner. Okay. Which I guess is like a millisecond faster or something. I don't know. Like maybe a second faster.
It don't bother me holding it. That's...
Anyway, there's options like that you can fuck around with. Make it however you want it, you know.
Yeah. I love it, dude. It is so sick. So this goes between the scenes.
Yep.
Okay.
So you can change that to be presets, scenes, or what they call stomp mode. So like, if you hit both these buttons at the same time, see how it says scene right there? That goes to stomp mode.
Okay.
And that goes to presets. So if we had a bunch of other presets saved, this is how you would get to those, right?
Okay.
And then if you press this again, now we're in scene mode inside that preset, right?
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And then stomp box mode is literally as though every one of those foot switches
it's separate.
is like it's every one of these effects would be its own button, like as though you had an actual
Like a pedal board.
normal pedal board. Yeah.
That's sick.
I personally don't do that. I leave it in scene mode.
Yeah. Yeah, because I probably would never use it in pedal board mode.
No.
If I wanted, I would have kept my analog pedal board.
Yeah, I mean, like old school dudes, I think, want it the way they're used to or whatever. Yeah, man.
Just sick.
Little bits coming in to get in on the action. Hi. Hi. Yeah. Little cutie. What do you want? You just want pets? Yeah.
I know there's a cat lover in here.
So the other thing that you may want to do too is like when you're making presets, certain combinations of pedals and amps are going to be louder than other ones.
Mm.
So you can go in and fuck with things like the amp's like output level.
Mm.
Like I just noticed that this is kind of louder than everything else. So I could come in here and bring that down to like 8. And then the same thing needs to happen here, since they're sharing the same amplifier. And so now, play. Yeah, they're about the same volume. But, you're gonna have to like balance it a little bit like that. And one way you can like get really precise about it is if you come here and you look at your output for either output 1 or 3,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see what it is when you play that patch or that scene.
Yeah.
Right, so that's like hitting negative 17-ish.
Yeah.
And then what you can do is you go, okay, and you come here and you do it again. Okay, so yeah, but so now I just noticed that it's louder on patch E than it is, or scene E than it is on scene G. So maybe I turned it down too much or whatever. So you just gotta
play around with it a little bit.
Yeah, like what I do is like I build the tones that I want. Mm-hmm. Like I'm like, okay, I love how this sounds. This is it. Then the very last step before I'm done is I level all of my shit. So whatever my distortion patch is, like whatever that sounds right, I look at what its output level is, and then I make all the rest of the scenes the same output. Mm. The only thing you have to do is you have to play hard. So even though, like, you need to play the scene how you're going to play the scene.
Yeah.
So like if you play like the distorted channel, like the main distortion soft, and you get a level of like -10, and then you go to like a clean patch and you play it really hard, and you get a -10. Well, in reality, you're going to play that clean patch a lot softer.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a -10. It's going to be much less. And when the main distortion patch, you're going to play hard.
Yeah.
So now they're not going to be level. So you have to like basically play it how you're going to play it, and monitor the outputs. You get a hang of it. You'll get the hang of it, and then you just copy and paste that same preset as many times as you want.
Yeah.
So I have like this same fucking preset in here, like, dude, so many times. So like, those are all that same preset. This is that. All of those are the same preset. all the same shit. It's just evolutions.
Yeah.
So like I try this, I try that, I move this around, I do that. And then you end up making ones for like, this is for practice, and then this is for live.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because like how I route shit at practice might be different. You know, there's just like little things like that.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, that's so wild.
Yeah. It's really as complicated as you want to make it, right? So like if you want to go nuts and program and automate all these different little things, you can. If you don't really give a shit and you're just going to be like, okay, this sounds sick, done, which a lot of guys do that. They just get like one main distortion sound and then they don't really fuck with it because it sounds good and they're done. They don't want to deal with it anymore.
I'll tell you, the 5153.
It sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds damn good.
I think you would, you know, what you should do is probably just like all of the amps you've ever wanted to try. Mm-hmm. So like a diesel or like a, you know, fuck, dude, you can even download Axe-Fx presets, like amps that the Axe-Fx has that this doesn't.
Yeah.
Like you can load those up. If there's like,
that's why.
I mean, it's just anything. Dude, so when I sold so I had an Axe-Fx rig before I went to this. Mm-hmm. And I used this to capture all of my Axe-Fx presets, like how I had it set up in the Axe-Fx. I basically captured them and loaded them into here in case I didn't like whatever I was getting out of this.
What you're used to.
Yeah, and it does sound pretty much like I still have them in here. I'm pretty sure. Like if I go to my captures, Axe-Fx high gain. That's it right there.
That's cool.
So like I was able to like basically capture those settings and bring it in. Same amp model. Like they have a thing called the Fast Modern, which is their take on a 5150. Mm-hmm. It's like a modded 5150 basically. And it sounds really good, especially when you mix it with like a dual recto sound. So anyway, the point I'm making is there are so many captures out there.
Yeah.
That are free to download, that are just like, you just type in whatever brand amp or whatever you've ever wanted to try, and it's probably already captured, and you could try, probably 8 people have captured it, and some people are good at capturing amps, and some people are really bad. So you may have to try a few different captures before you find the one that you like. But then you can try out every amp ever that you've ever wanted to try, and this is a very good approximation. It may not be exactly what it feels like, but dude, it's so close that you're not. So I'll tell you, there was so Jamie, we were at practice once, and I was like, I had just gotten this, and I was like, yeah, dude, it's got bass presets too, and he's like, no way, we should try one, and I was like, okay. So I had a much bigger power amp, and we plugged it into his 810 cab. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, dude, they have your amp in here. The same amp that's sitting right there. We have it in here. He's like, really? So we swapped it to that setting, and he was like, dude, it fucking sounds exactly like that amp. And I was like, yep, yes it does. Because we had just heard it. Yeah. We A-B'd it, and it was like, yeah, that's the same.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm able to experiment them.
Yeah.
For sure.